What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss if we will get a Jumanji 4. Now, technically, this would be a 4. It's third in the trilogy, but it is considered, I believe, even by the directors of these last two movies, as the fourth installment, because they do count the first installment in their head. So, I guess in order to fully be able to talk about this, you have to know about the ending of Jumanji: The Next Level. Now, we talked about that. We did an ending explained video yesterday, so this is going to cover spoilers. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled, make sure you turn away now. But I'll briefly go over what happened. I'll kind of recap yesterday's video and talk about, again, if the potential is there. It goes, I think, like when you have this discussion, I think it goes further past even what happened at the end of the movie. The ending of this movie is basically the game world, coming out of the game and becoming part of the real world. You get to see that literally just in the shot. Nothing really all that mind-blowing or something that you'd have to really overthink of what happened at the end of the next level. The game basically comes out of the game just like in the original movie, and obviously our main stars, in terms of actually the kids or the young, I don't, they're like college age, so I guess we could just call them that. They are probably going to be tasked with, of course, sending the game back to the actual game. So that's the ending of the movie, is that the game, comes to life, and that really, and even people have said, or even the director said, if it does well enough, we're going to have the conversation for a Jumanji 4. Sources have actually already, I saw a couple articles that they've reached out to their sources, and sources that had previously said that there was an Ace Ventura 3 and also a new Scream movie in the works, both of which have been proven right. That same source said that there is already talks in place for a Jumanji 4. They're already starting to work towards it. So that's very, very exciting, and it makes a lot of sense. This movie, I feel like, is going to make a ton of money. I feel like it's very, very difficult to be able to replicate the kind of success that Welcome to the Jungle had. That movie made almost $1 billion and really came out of, there was a lot of people very worried about that movie. Sony themselves did not really know, I think, what they had in that movie. And that movie made like $960 million. That is absolutely insane. And it also went up against The Last Jedi. And when you look at this movie, you could say, well, next week is The Rise of Skywalker. It's going to have, pretty big competition. Overseas markets really liked The Last Jumanji. I'm sure they're going to like this one. And even without that, over here in the U.S., I think people are going to really enjoy it. In terms of my enjoyment level, I thought it was just as good as the first movie. I super love this movie. And Star Wars, Jumanji is not a movie that's going to divide people. You're not going to go into that movie and hate the person next to you based off of their opinion on Jumanji: The Next Level. Okay, it's just not that kind of film. Star Wars has literally all of the drama in the universe put into just that one movie. So there's going to be a lot of things going on there. I honestly don't think Star Wars is going to affect Jumanji at all. I think maybe just a little bit, but I really don't think, if people expect Star Wars to steal all the money from Jumanji, I think that's just flat out not going to be the case. So I think it'll make money. I think it'll easily make its money back. The movie's budget actually is still not even all that high. It's like $130 million. It doesn't need to make all that much to be successful, but at the same time, if it's a major, major step back, I think what this movie franchise has going for it is that it's really probably always been planned as a trilogy. I think that if there is a third one in this trilogy, a fourth one overall, I think if there is another one, it will be the last one. I think everybody will kind of be okay with that. I think you could obviously have the main, the AAA cast come back, and even Jack Black, there's a lot of talks. Because of him, he said it, that he's looking to retire. He's going to be retiring pretty darn soon. He said basically, he was joking about like a Quentin Tarantino movie if he ever came to him and asked, but I really think based off of all the things Jack Black said, he's just going to be a whole lot more picky in terms of projects he takes. And a lot of actors and actresses end up doing that. Actresses, I feel like, tend to do a little bit more, especially if they have children or, when they first have children. And it makes sense for Jack Black, just turned 50, and if he's looking for the early retirement, that's totally cool. But I do think he would just be more picky. But he even said, he could come back to movies, or he could do more movies, that's for sure. And I feel like the plan overall, we don't know contract situation, but I feel like he would, I mean, they would need him to. You can't have a third Jumanji movie in this trilogy without having all of the four, and even you can consider Nick Jonas as part of it too. So you could say those five main people coming back. You just absolutely need them to come back, and it makes a lot of sense. Again, I feel like this movie is going to make quite a bit of money, even if it doesn't make, say it makes $700 million instead of like $950. Yeah, that's actually a substantial drop, but at the same time, it's not like you're looking for this franchise to continue for another 10 years. You know what I mean? It's not like you're looking to make 4 more of them, and so a drop like that wouldn't, I feel like, mess with you that much, because then even if you have the third one and it makes, say, $600 million, well, yeah, all 3 of them definitely, they made less and less each time. They went backwards, but they still made a boatload of money. They still were very, very successful for you, and you would only plan 3 in the first place, and then you can get out. You don't need to stretch it to 5, 6 movies, and then suddenly you're just breaking even. Suddenly you're starting to lose money. Things like that. Things that, like, the Hunger Games had problems with. Even the Fantastic Beasts movies are starting to have problems with already, and I'm sure they will continue to, where, yeah, they're making money, but they're making less each time. There's only been 2 movies, and eventually they're probably just going to break even, and, they're in it for a 5-year deal, or a 5-movie deal, so that's a lot. So, like, things like that can definitely stop sequels from happening in general. I feel like if this movie even makes $500 million, which is easy, truly is, especially for a movie like this, very, very easy. Overseas markets, I think, are very much going to help this movie. I think a sequel, a third movie in this trilogy, a 4th movie overall, is easily going to happen. I feel like they would want it to continue the trend, so December of 2 years from now, which is perfect because you don't even have a Star Wars movie to compete with at that time. The next Star Wars movie is actually 3 years in a way, so it would have that December probably all to itself, or at least not against a major Star Wars movie. And I think, again, keep the cast relatively young or around the same age, you could say, as what they are now. You're not, and I like that. I really do like that, because you're not stretching it out, right? It's not like a movie's coming out 5, 6 years later and the cast is, majorly aged since the last movie. These guys look almost identical to what they did 2 years ago, as they probably should, because it's only been 2 years. And then even, if you have the third movie, 3 movies in 4 years in all, it's a pretty solid thing. And if you can squeeze out, probably when you're all said and done, $2.2 to $2.5 billion because of these 3 movies once they're all finished, I mean, you have one of the most successful franchises. I mean, Fast and Furious finds a way to continue, but, Jumanji, I think, has just done an excellent job. I would fully expect another Jumanji. I cannot wait for it. I think it's all, but, I was kind of worried about where the ending, especially with the Jack Black stuff, and even the first movie didn't necessarily even set up a sequel. They kind of only did that in this movie, which is a little interesting, but I was kind of worried going into this movie, wondering, will they set it up very deliberately to make it a third? It also just makes more sense because you have 2 movies in a franchise. Do you really stop it at 2, right? I think the goal, especially if you make a second one, is, well, why not just, make it a third one, right? Why not just make it like a current trilogy? So I was a little worried, but obviously they did it where they clearly want to. Rumor has it they are already in the works for it, and that's truly awesome. So guys, what do you think about that? Do you want a third Jumanji movie in this trilogy, a 4th Jumanji movie and all? Let me know in the comments below. When do you think it would come out? What do you think would happen in it? Let me know all those things. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast. Now hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up, and thank you as always for watching our videos, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Hey guys, firstly, thank you so much for getting to this far, this at the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. I do want to quickly remind you guys, we are doing a community event on December 21st. It is the Saturday. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you guys want to play with us, we have the video up on the channel. Make sure you guys go watch that video and leave in the comments that you want to play with us. It's also a live stream event, so you guys just want to kind of swing by, watch us play the game, have some fun right before Christmas. It's going to be an absolute blast, and I hope to see you guys there.